Alright, be honest. You're eating clean, you're lifting weights, you're counting your calories like your life depends on it. Yet your belly fat and love handles, still freaking there. Sound familiar? So, what the hell is going on? Listen, trying to burn fat from your stomach, thighs, or love handles can feel impossible. No detox tea, miracle crunch routine, or expensive fat burning cream will magically melt fat off the one place you hate the most. If they did, we'd all be walking around with six packs. But there is a real reason you're not losing fat, and it's not what you've been told. Let's briefly talk spot reduction. A lot of people still believe if they just crank out enough crunches, their belly fat will finally pack up and leave. But that's not how fat loss works. No matter how many ab circuits you sweat through, your body doesn't burn fat right off the area you're working. Fat loss happens systemically, across your whole body. The fat we store is mainly triglycerides, tucked away in fat cells called adipocytes. When you exercise or cut calories, your body breaks these triglycerides into free fatty acids and glycerol, which travel through your bloodstream and can be burned for energy anywhere, not just the area you're training. It's like draining a swimming pool. You can't lower the water in one corner, the whole level drops evenly. Research backs this up with a randomized 12-week trial, which found that people who added an ab-focused resistance program to their diet did not lose more belly fat than those who only dieted. Likewise, a 2021 meta-analysis of 13 studies involving more than 1,100 participants found that exercising a specific part of the body did not reduce fat in that part of the body. So, where you lose fat first, and where it stubbornly hangs on, is largely out of your control. Genetics accounts for up to 60% of how your body decides where to store and finally release fat. So, blame your parents, guys. For men, stubborn fat clings to the belly and love handles, apparently nature's idea of peak evolution. And for women, it's often the hips, thighs, and butt, because female bodies are built to store fat for pregnancy and breastfeeding. But there's another layer to all of this. Hormones. Stress ramps up your cortisol levels, causing your body to stubbornly hold on to fat, as if being stressed wasn't already fun enough. Sleep deprivation tanks your testosterone and estrogen, shifting fat toward your belly. And as we age, hormonal changes make stubborn fat even more stubborn. But here's the plot twist. A recent 2023 study found that overweight men who combined intense abdominal training with cardio lost slightly more trunk fat, about 697 grams over 10 weeks, than those doing cardio alone, even with the same calories burned. In other words, there might be a slight potential for spot reduction if you train a muscle group intensely and then immediately follow it with cardio. But don't get too excited. This was only a small difference and required 84-minute workouts, 4 times a week. Not exactly practical for most people. Bottom line, stubborn fat stays last because your body decides where it comes off first and last. But it does not mean it's impossible to lose it. So what's the real reason you're not losing fat? It's not because your body is broken. To put it simply, fat loss takes time, especially in those stubborn spots you hate the most. One of the biggest mistakes people make is quitting too soon when they don't see the fat melting away. They assume they're doing something wrong, when in reality it's usually the spots you're most self-conscious about that stick around the longest. Here's another massive problem: guessing instead of tracking. Most people think they're in a calorie deficit, but either underestimate how much they're eating or overestimate how many calories they're burning. A handful of nuts here, a splash of oil there, a weekend cheat meal that accidentally turns into 3,000 calories. It all adds up. Research shows that people commonly underestimate their calorie intake by up to 40%. So even if you think you're eating clean, your deficit might be gone before you know it. Instead of letting slow progress mess with your head, track your food, your steps, your workouts, even how your clothes fit. Because fat loss isn't always visible on the scale right away. So if spot reduction's a myth, what does work? It's actually pretty simple. Stay in a calorie deficit, keep lifting weights to protect your metabolism, use cardio for extra burn, and get your sleep in check. Muscle's your secret weapon. It shapes your body, lets you eat more while still dropping fat, and keeps your metabolism high. And that's the truth behind stubborn fat loss. Which part of your plan needs the biggest upgrade? Your workouts, your tracking, or maybe just finally getting some decent sleep? Drop it in the comments below. And as always, keep lifting heavy, and remember, no amount of crunches will save you from pizza night.